October the 18th, 2019. You're looking at the National Hurricane Center forecast. Now, the map is a little behind with the information that's coming in, but I'm sure they'll update it soon. It's saying potential tropical cyclone 16. But since the morning's video, which at that time the storm was at 40 miles per hour sustained winds, it's now jumped 20 miles an hour to 60 miles per hour. And that was something that I talked about for the last few days. It has the longest path across the Gulf of Mexico from where it started, down in the lower bay of Campeche, guys. So we've got a 20 mile per hour jump. Now, even at 40 miles per hour this morning, that technically puts it at a tropical storm, because that goes from 39 to 74 miles an hour, or 73 miles an hour. At 74, you get a Cat 1 hurricane. Now, so we are seeing rapid development of 20 mile per hour sustained wind speed in the last few hours. So we need to keep an eye on it, guys. If it doesn't get to 74, which it may not, it's not predicted to, but if it approaches that, that really changes the game from a weak tropical storm, again, from technically 39 miles an hour sustained wind. So that doubles the strength. So you just got to pay attention to it. We've already, again, went from 40 mile per hour to 20 mile per hour winds, and this will become Nestor on the next update, Nestor, if I'm not mistaken. But again, they're saying it's a potential tropical cyclone. So if you come here and look at this, make sure you read the other information. Also, notice that the central pressure is 1,001 millibars, but the movement has really picked up. It's moving at 22 miles per hour, so it's going to come in quick, okay? And that's a good thing, because if it was slower, you would get more rain and it would have more time over the open waters to strengthen. But it is already a very dangerous situation at these wind speeds. Again, this is not gust, and this can do a lot of damage. Now, the National Hurricane model is staying very close to the Navy model and the other three that are showing this northern track. And I think what has happened, and we talked about this a few days ago, as long as that low pressure system that was giving us all the rain across the southeast for the last few days, as long as it was pushing downward, this thing was going to curve further south towards the Tampa area. And we still have a few models showing that. But that low pressure system, guys, has slowed down and it's weakened. So we're starting to see this turn more to the north. So everybody pay attention. Now let me say this. Many of you know it. This is an old drill for all of us that are on the coast. But if you're visiting or you haven't been through one of these, this area here is just it's not the size of the storm, guys. It's where the center of the storm is predicted to go, somewhere within these two lines of this cone. But the storm can be bigger than that, and the northwest quadrant, which would be, northeast quadrant, which would be this side of the storm, is going to create the largest storm surge through these areas. It'll start out, you're going to get you guys in Mobile and Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, Perdido, Pensacola. Your first winds will come out of the north as the storm gets closer and closer. You're going to be seeing some push now, but as you get that center rotation, remember how this works. So you're going to get a pull. The water will be pulling out of the bays if it stays on this track. But anywhere around the center and down to the right, guys, it's going to be doing the opposite. And since the speed is increasing faster, look for higher storm surge, okay? You know, you don't want to be boating. You don't want to be swimming. And you guys, I know you love it off the Pensacola Pier. Watch you do it many times when these come in. Get out there and surf in these 15, 16-foot seas. But it's not recommended. I know you love it, but just be super careful. And this is our latest satellite image of the Gulf of Mexico itself. Now, what you're seeing, and we've seen it a couple times before this year, is wind shear separating the upper layer of the storm kind of away from the center of circulation. In other words, the storm is really lopsided to the east or to the right side of this image. That's good in the way that it helps keep the center of circulation from really wrapping up into big thunderstorms. But what it's doing for all you guys in Florida is sending a tremendous amount of rain ahead of the center of the storm. You're already starting to see it. We had a beautiful day the last few days, a lot of sun, but all that's coming to an end now for the next few days. And then what's going to follow, guys, if you look at along the Gulf Coast states here, is that cool front I was talking about is going to settle in here in a few days and stay past Halloween. By the way, speaking of Halloween, I know a lot of folks have more than likely put up a lot of decorations in your yards. And if you want pumpkins blowing through your front window, that's cool. But that's what will happen at 60-mile-per-hour sustained winds plus. And so let your neighbors know. Maybe roll them to put it back up until after the storm passes, because it will be shredded and it could be dangerous. So keep that in mind, guys. Lawn furniture, things like that. 60-mile-per-hour sustained winds is nothing to play with, and I suspect this thing will become stronger. Now, this is important. Let's switch to infrared satellite imaging. And you can see, guys, in the rear section of the storm, this southwest corner, that you've got very powerful thunderstorms developing and becoming more organized. You see that round circular pattern? And even though they're saying the center of the storm is going to move more towards the northern panhandle of Florida in this direction, this movement is all towards the Tampa area. And so we've got a couple things going on here that we got to pay attention to. In other words, this storm could impact a large swath of Florida. Now, don't forget, and if you look at the clouds starting to build here, Mississippi, Alabama, you're going to start seeing it in Georgia, guys, and, of course, along the Florida panhandle. But this thing is not playing. Let me turn this back on. And again, look at the general motion. Even though the center, again, of the storm is moving more northeast, there's a lot of easterly pattern into these upper layer storms. Makes no sense. Now, look, let's switch to infrared satellite imaging. You can see that where the thunderstorms are out in the central Gulf, the blacker it gets, the more intense, the higher the clouds are, the more rain is involved. A lot of that is going to strike central Florida, regardless of where they're predicting the center of circulation to cross the Florida peninsula. You see that motion, guys? And I've been concerned about Tampa the entire time. But again, what we're seeing, and this could make a turn at the last minute, is instead of this low front over the Gulf states, we're seeing this the system, which would be Nestor, push against it and try to push it back north, so it's having less effect. So we do need to watch for last minute turns back to the left and north on the storm. Regardless, it looks like you're going to, and you already are, according to radar in the Tampa area, starting to see some rain. It may be light right now. You're probably seeing some push into the marinas and as far as higher water. But guys, it's nothing compared to what's coming. And it looks like, again, remember this, regardless of where the center goes, there's going to be a lot of rain off to the right of the storm. Now, if we look at the newest models, came out at 12 p.m., that's Eastern time, you can see that the Navy now, which is the purple line, the Navy model, is kind of alone in this northern track. These are more along with the National Hurricane Center just north of the Florida Big Bend area here. But we still have a few models that are showing the Tampa area, so don't let your guard down. And like I said, regardless, you are going to get a lot of moisture from the storm and probably some high winds. Make sure your boats are tied up good. We've been there. Now, again, here they're saying potential tropical cyclone 16, Sky Tower Fox out of Florida, but the winds are at 60 miles per hour. So something's going to have to change here soon. Notice Friday, 8 p.m., that's this afternoon, this evening, the center of the storm is due south of Mobile Bay. See that, guys? And then by tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., they're showing it coming ashore near or just north of the Big Bend in Florida. What is that going to tell you? if it holds to this track, we're still going to see the moisture pushing out towards the Tampa area, right? But this quadrant right in here, that's east of the Big Bend area, is going to catch the most wind and the most wave action, the most storm surge and the floodings. So you guys, you don't have long, okay? You're already seeing the clouds start to push up through the southern Gulf states. But we'll update this afternoon. I'm sure that this will be Nestor. It really technically already is. And let's watch for it to approach a Cat 1 at 74 miles an hour. Either way, it's going to be a very strong tropical storm. It's a heads up. Be safe.